Hello, CS112. Today I'll be going over a quick solution to Lab 7, which has to do with dictionaries. To dive right into it, you were to create a function called def word frequency, which takes in a dictionary called textdict. This dictionary represents essentially a word count for each specific word in a text document. So, for example, the keys are going to be each of the specific words, and the values are going to be how many times that word appears in said text document. So, for instance, the word the would appear 10 times. That is the key value pair in this dictionary. What you were to do is create a new dictionary and kind of do a 1-2 flipperoo of these guys. So you would make the 10 the key and the word the value, as expressed down here. As you can also see, for the values, it needed to be a list. So, for example, cat and dog, since they both occur 3 times, they would be part of the same value in the key value pair. This is because, I'm sure as you guys know, each of these keys has to be unique. So you can't have 2, 3 keys in here. There can only be one. So that's why we made this have to be a list. So you can have multiple things associated with that one key. And lastly, you need to ensure that each of these lists here were sorted. And we were allowed to use .sort, so that just made our lives a lot easier. So now to dive into this, I'll come up with a quick code skeleton. So the very first thing I want to do is actually loop through textdict. So I'm going to be looping through this dictionary here while simultaneously binging, it's not a real word, while creating our answer dictionary here. And to do that, well, we want to first check in answer if key already exists. I'm going to append to value. So this is the case where when we're building this guy here, let's say dog wasn't appended yet, we would just check to see if, like, we've already created this key value here. When we go on to dog, we would check, okay, is 3 in answer? Is 3 a key in answer? Well, it already is. So we're just going to append it to this list here to make it a dog rather than creating a new key value pair. So this is going to be an else create new key value pair. So this is if the frequency is unique and it's not already in our answer dictionary, we're going to create a new key value pair. So now, just to continue going through, excuse me, I'm a little under the weather today. Just to go over the basics of dictionaries, since I'm sure some of you guys are still uncomfortable with it, if I was to just say for I in textdict, and I was to print out I, what would be printed just with this first example here? Well, this would just print out the keys. So it would print out the cat, dog ran down in streets, just all nice and neat for you there. So I'm just going to make a quick comment here just so I can know for myself that I is equal to the key. Well, now how do I find the value? Well, the value is just textdict I. So if I was to run this bad boy, and print out the values associated with each key. So now we know that, excuse me, textdict I is equal to the value in the key value pair. So now, right here, I need to check if the key already exists in answer. So I know I just said that the key equals I, but since in answer, the key is going to equal the value of textdict, we need to check if the value is already a key in answer. So I check if textdict I in answer. So this in operator is extremely powerful. What this will do here is it will check to see if this value here is a key in answer. We'll check if this variable is a key in answer. So if we look here, what this will do in our answer thing here is it will take this variable and see if it is a key here. So it will check the 10, the 3, the 2, so on and so forth. So it will only return true and enter this if block if it is a key in answer. If it is a value in answer, it will not return true. This only searches keys. And what are we going to do if the key already exists? We're going to append it to the value. So I'm going to say answer at textdict I dot appends I. So now what am I doing here? Well, saying answer, which is the name of a dictionary, at a key value, this essentially will boil down to simply be the value of a specific dictionary. So this dictionary name and then key name inside these brackets will boil down to just be something like this sublist here. And this sublist will dot append I. So that's what that syntax is doing. And just to make our lives a little easier, I'm also going to do the sorting part here. So if I just say dot sort after every time I append to this list, it'll just sort it real quick. We are not worried about efficiency here, so it's okay. And else create a new key value pair. So this is where I'll say else, and then inside here I will start with similar syntax to the one above here. So text dict I is going to equal a list version of I. So what happens if I don't have these, if I don't put it in brackets? Well, if I don't put it in brackets, then each of these will be something that just looks like this, and we can't append to that. And we want to have this be a list and be able to append to it, so when we initially create it, we want it to be a list like this. And just so you guys know, this syntax here is probably one of the most important things you will need to know in a dictionary. So just to talk about it here, if you have a dict name, key name equals value, this will do two different things in a dictionary. The first thing it will do when you try to access dict key name is it will try to access the value associated with this key inside this dictionary. If it does exist, it will overwrite it and set the value equal to whatever this new value is. If it doesn't exist, it will create a new key value pair with this key and this value. So it does two things. It will first check if it exists. If it does exist, it will overwrite it with this new value. If it doesn't exist, it will create a new key value pair. So that's what we're doing up here. We're just creating a new key value pair because it doesn't exist in our dictionary. And if it does exist, we're going to be altering and actually appending to that value. So I'm just going to run that real quick. Hopefully there are no silly errors. Okay, so as you can see here, I got the correct outputs. I mean, you can look through it yourself. I'm just going to uncomment these to show you guys it works for everything else as well. As you can see, I do get the correct output. So I do suggest you guys get as comfortable as you can with dictionaries, with the syntax here specifically, with iterating through dictionaries, being able to easily grab and manipulate keys and values and create new dictionaries, stuff like that. If you have any questions, feel free to let us know.